I think one of the things that you've explained is the importance of context and also understanding the surrounding circumstances. So let's just go back a little bit into what you covered. For those people that have, and this is where I'll add in this word urgency. Like if you're already in a situation and it's bad and you need to figure out how, it is what it is. Like I'm here now, I'm in debt, I'm getting ready to be homeless. You have to do what you have to do. Like
Yep.
nobody's going to fault you for doing what you have to do in those
Mm-mm.
situations. That's
No.
not who we're talking about. If you have a certain level of runway where you see something coming and it goes back to the writing being on the wall, then there's a level of accountability because you saw signs and you just chose to ignore them. So indecision is a decision. And that's
Hmm.
one of the things where we'll have those conversations to say, okay, well, did you ask about this? Did you check and see? Because I can tell you, I know there's been times where I worked at jobs and I started seeing people get laid off. And my follow-up question was, is this something I need to be able to worry about? Well, no, no, that's that department. And I'm like, okay, but what happens when it's this department? Or what are you basing that on? Because if you're saying, well, they're
Hmm.
expendable, why? And if you ask the follow-up question, sometimes what you realize is because we can't afford to lose the executives. So we start looking at the middle management and everybody below that to be able to make sure that we can hold on to those people. And then
Right.
that's when I have to start to evaluate and go, okay, well, I know what I'm bringing to the table. I want to know what that executive that fighting so hard to be able to hold on to that's making that salary that's covering three different people's
But Sean, you
salary
just
is
brought
doing.
up a really good point, and you said, I know what I'm bringing to the table. Do you know what you're bringing to the table? So if you're that person, right? And if your answer is show up,
Yeah.
might not be the
Yeah.
best answer. What
Yeah.
value are you actually bringing? Because sometimes, and I really hate to say this, but it's true. There are people that I know in corporate jobs
Hmm.
who believe they're bringing value. But when you say, tell me the
Absolutely.
value, they couldn't live without me and I'm going to retire in 2 years. So as
Hmm.
long as I keep showing up, I'm providing value.
Yes.
In today's world, many times that's not enough. You have to be providing value. Or in my mind, when we start talking about preparation, right?
Hmm.
So when we talked about risk, I talked about preventing,
Hmm.
mitigating, and
Yes.
preparing. Okay. If the writing might be on the wall, or if you're 50 and you're thinking, what happens if I get let go? How am I going to survive till I'm 65 and go on Social Security? And here in the US, I know we have got some listeners probably from Canada and
Mm.
other countries. Here in the US, could you retire at 65 or, get medical, well, you get social, you can get Medicare. I don't know if you can get Social
Hmm.
Security now. I think they actually changed that to 67.
It's gone up. Yeah. People are
Yeah,
working longer
even
now.
for my age, and I won't tell you how I am, but I'm over 60.
Mm.
So it's gone up, right? So you got to prepare. And if Sean's that person that says, oh, I'm 50 and I might have to take care of a family or take care of myself if I'm a single
Right.
person, and that's another risk. We hate to say it, but a married couple has almost a sense of togetherness,
Hmm.
and even that's a risk. If you've been a stay-at-home mom all your life, you
Yeah.
may not be getting Social Security because you got to have X amount of credits in. So, one
Yeah.
thing I'm going to tell our listeners, if you're in the US, one thing you should look at is, am I even going to get Social Security? Do I
That's a
have
great
enough
point.
buy in credits? And you can check that by going to the Social Security Administration. And if you do, great. But if you haven't worked that much, you're not going to get that much. Consider that. Many people today can barely live on Social Security. And
Yeah.
that's why a lot of people are working at Walmart or taking other jobs. But I want to be clear, there are many jobs out there that don't mean you have to go work at Walmart or CVS or Costco.
Hmm.
You can make an income, but for some of you, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And the truth is, that's the preparing for the risk, right?
Yes.
If you wait till you're either let go or you're going, well, now what am I going to do? Let me start preparing. What if it takes you a couple of years to build up those skills? What are you going to do in the meantime? Right. So if you've got a job, I always say, that's awesome. Keep
Hmm.
doing your job. But what if you could be doing something, whether it's taking some classes, whether it's starting a very part time business that you put 3 or 4 or 5 hours in a week and you
Hmm.
go, but I'm not going to make six figures doing that. No kidding. So when somebody tells you you are, let's think twice.
Yes.
Okay. come back to asking the right questions. There's a lot of hype out here,
Mhm.
especially in today's environment. One of my pet peeves, and I'm going to go off on a tangent for a minute, is
Mhm.
people getting lied to, or and let's say somebody came to you, they gave you this much little bit of information. You're like, wow, this sounds really great. And they say, if you just go recruit four of your friends, and they recruit four of their friends, and they recruit four of
Yeah.
their friends, and they recruit four of their friends, and you go, got it. So now Sean comes to me, says, Marianne, this is great. If you just recruit four of your friends and four, and I start asking Sean questions, and he goes, I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. Well, talk to this person. Does Sean have a lot of credibility with me?
Not at all.
He shouldn't, right? But if I'm desperate, I want to believe so bad in what he's saying. So I go, okay, I'm in.
Mhm.
Do I actually know what it takes to make money? Probably not. Do I know what skill sets it takes? Probably not. Do I know how much Sean's going to help me? At this point, I don't think Sean knows much more than I do, right? So I'm back to asking the right questions, preparing. And, somebody today said to me when I was having a conversation before we got to this podcast, they said, Marianne, you're making the assumption that some people care or that they want to have that better life. And I said, you know what? You're right.
That's fair.
There are people out there who, quite honestly, all they want to do is complain and talk about how terrible their life is. And when you say, how about do 6 million excuses, which could be their reasons in essence, well, I've got four kids, I can't do that.
Mm.
I have to make breakfast at 9 o'clock, so I can't do that. Oh, okay. You have to, we can't talk to everybody on this podcast because the truth is, everybody who listens to this, 100% of them are not going to be in the Sean and Marianne category of, I get what you're saying. These are the things I need to do. They're just not. So we're
Right.
not talking to those people. If you're that person who's like, nope, my life is just terrible and nothing you say is going to work, no offense, but you can log off now.
Well, I'll say this: come back and listen when you're in a position to be able to hear it, because there are a lot of people that will. Well, as the way I used to put it is, my grandmother would say, "Did you hear what I said?" And I would say, "Yes." And she said, "But were you listening?" There are people that
I
are
love
willing to
that.
hear you out, but there aren't listening for the actual advantage and all the different things that they can do to be able to change their situation. So
Right.
there are going to be people that hear it and say, "Well, that's not me. It doesn't apply to me. It doesn't this. It doesn't that." This isn't meant for you in this moment. It's meant for you when you're willing to be able to do something about it. So that goes back to that comfort zone that you talked about. And that comfort zone is where the excuses live. It's where
Yeah.
you're going, well, it's not so bad yet that I feel like I have to have that sense of urgency. And this is where it goes back to one of the things that you were saying. Desperation can go in two different directions. There are the people that are genuinely looking to be able to help you in those situations. And then there are the people that are looking to help themselves. And when you're desperate, you may miss that level of discernment because you have such a level of urgency that you're like, I need it yesterday, that you don't have the time to ask the follow-up questions. They go, does this person genuinely care about me and how things could play out? Or is this
And
someone
do
that's
they
going, you
understand
know
what
what?
they're talking about, Sean? I
That
would add
part, that
that,
part as well.
right?
That part as well. It's something where I think what we're talking about is, and this is you're answering the question. There are some people that are risk averse. There are some people that will jump without looking. And then there are those people that are in a strategic middle. And that goes back to saying, okay, well, if you know the writing's on the wall, or if you're starting to see signs of something, then okay, what are you going to do about it? So there's the what's now, what's next, and oh yeah, I already thought about that. So we can continue to put them in three different groups to make it so that you can understand stage wise where you're at. If you're
Right.
not looking at anything and you're just going, well, I'll deal with that when it comes up, then you're putting yourself in a position where you're going to have to go back to what you call reactionary. It's on you
And I
now.
want to add to that for a minute because we all have those things and it depends on what's the level of it? What's the level of impact? Okay?
Hmm.
If somebody's going to stub their toe, I may not be doing a whole lot to try to stop them. Like that
Right.
the impact isn't that big, right? And ourselves, right? Let's say we go to the store and we really want this sourdough bread.
Mhm.
Well, it's not there. And we go, well, ugh, we got to get this white bread. Okay. Right. Like we didn't go, I'm going to go to 6 stores to find that sourdough bread.
Right.
We go, I'm going to take this. So the impact's not big, but for some things, the impact is very big. It's
Mhm.
if you're wrong, it's gonna cost you a lot of money, or it's gonna cost you a
Consequences.
lot of time,
Yeah.
or you could have a heart attack, right? So understanding the impact of your decisions, we all have things in our life that we go, "I'll deal with that if it happens."
Mhm.
Okay? We we all have car insurance, hopefully. Most of us have car insurance. It doesn't stop us from driving our car down the road. We go, "Look, is it could we possibly get in a car accident?" The answer is yes. We still drive down the road, but we do it cautiously. We follow the speed limit, follow the rules of the road. We keep our eyes open,
Mhm.
right? That's what we're talking about here when it comes to jobs, career, money, investments, like whatever pieces that you're looking at.